Annyeong, hey y'all, it's Em, and this is my first ever Korean film review, and today I'll be talking about The Concubine. So the film came out in 2012, directed by Kim Dae-seung. In America, it would be rated R for graphic sex, disturbing images, and violence. The film stars Yeo-jeong as the main character Hwa-yoon. Also stars Kim Dong-wook as the prince, later King Sungwon. Kim Min-joon as Kwan-yu, Park Ji-young as the Queen Mother, and An Suk-hwan as Shin Ik-chul, who is the main character's father. So that's the starring cast. So the film takes place during the early Joseon dynasty. The plot is about obsession, revenge, and political intrigue. Our story starts out with Prince Sungwon hunting for a deer. At the very end of the hunt, a servant actually shoots the deer instead of Sungwon and kind of ruins the hunt for the prince. Afterwards, Sungwon is drinking with his host who kind of, got the hunt organized. That host is Ik-chul. It's here that Sungwon sees Hwa-yoon, the daughter of his host, for the very first time, and he falls in love, like massive love at first sight, kind of like a creepy stalker. But Hwa-yoon is in a secret relationship with a servant, Kwan-yu, and he is actually the servant that messed up the prince's hunt for the deer. Meanwhile, Sungwon's mother is she has no blood ties to the current king. She's his stepmother, and she's worried about her position in the palace, so she is plotting to put her son on the throne. And she hears that Sungwon is spending all his time at Ik-chul's house and trying to get with Hwa-yoon, and she warns her son to stay away from Hwa-yoon, and when he doesn't listen to her, she decides to appoint Hwa-yoon to be the king's new wife because the king is a widower and he has no children and he needs a new queen. So in order to try to protect her son as well as to get a new queen, she decides to appoint Hwa-yoon, and when they find that out, Hwa-yoon and Kwan-yu try to run away, and they get to spend one night together, but they are then caught by Hwa-yoon's father, and in order to save her lover's life, Hwa-yoon decides to go to the palace willingly. Then 5 years later, Sungwon is still in love with Hwa-yoon, who is now the queen and married to his stepbrother. And then the king ends up dying from a mysterious illness. And Sungwon is made the king. It is also revealed that after trying to kidnap the king's woman, aka that's what they say in the movie, that Kwan-yu tried to kidnap Hwa-yoon, and for his crime he is made a eunuch and is now a servant in the palace. Even though Sungwon is the king and can have any woman he desires. He cannot have Hwa-yoon because she is, in Joseon Dynasty law, she is considered his sister since she was his brother's wife. And since that's the main plot, now let's get to the actual review. So normally I would not watch this type of film because it is rated R and it does have a lot of graphic and disturbing scenes. But when it comes to dramas and stuff, I'm really intrigued and interested in the history of harems and concubines and palace women. Like, I don't know why. It intrigues me because just, all those women living in one place are supposed to be with this one guy, but it's an interesting, like, thing that I like to research and to watch and to read about. So the story is sort of a typical historical drama in that the Queen Mother controls everything and that she is very manipulative. What makes this story different from other dramas and films is the character's psychology and the attention to the psychology and the mental health of the characters. Though Hwa-yoon is the main character, there isn't much character development with her, and it's really hard to feel sympathy for her and for most of the characters actually. I honestly felt sorry for the late king, who was Sung-won's older brother, because he is a victim in this whole plot. The Queen Mother and Hwa-yoon are both manipulative of the men in the palace. Sung-won is just obsessed and disturbed, and just all he wants is Hwa-yoon, and he does some really, really bad stuff because of his obsession. There's this scene where he rapes Hwa-yoon's maid, and it's really, really disturbing because there's a mirror in that scene, and as the king is looking through the mirror, he's not seeing the maid, he's seeing Hwa-yoon, and it's just a really bizarre scene. And Kwan Yu, sorry, messed up his name. Kwan Yu, he does a complete 180 in personality when he becomes a eunuch. Like, when he was just a common servant, he was just a sweet, caring, loving guy. But the moment he becomes a eunuch in the palace, he becomes cruel and manipulative, and he sides himself. Like, he acts like he's on the Queen Mother's side when he's still in love with Hwa-yoon, and there's a subplot of a assassination attempt and who really killed the late king, and it's kind of crazy. Another thing that I wasn't a huge fan of was there were numerous subplots, and there were times when the story and like the pacing of the story was awkward. The graphic sex scenes were kind of disturbing to watch, but it did show the depravity and downward spiral of Sung-won's sanity. There's there's 4 really graphic sex scenes, and what I mean by graphic is full nudity on both parts. You only, from the man's part, from like the male, you only see his backside, but for the girl, you see everything. The first sex scene's actually kind of romantic because it's Hwa-yoon and Kwan Yu, and they actually love each other. The next three, though, are with Sungwon and are just graphic and weird and disturbing, and it just really shows his mental spiral, like, going down. Like, the mental spiral of insanity. The film really wasn't my cup of tea. I did appreciate the artistic cinematography. I have such a hard time saying that word. Like I said, even though it was very graphic and at little times disturbing, what made it so disturbing though was how artistic, like even though it was disturbing, it was just so artistically done, like the filming and like how the scenes were filmed. Like, here's a picture of one of the scenes that's kind of disturbing, but of the same way, like the cinematography of it is really cool. Like this picture right here. This movie is not for the faint of heart, and I would give it a 2 out of 5 personally. If you like psychological thrillers and don't mind nudity and depictions of rape, then I'd say give it a try. I hope y'all enjoyed my movie review. There is a link to the trailer in the description. I ended up watching the film on Netflix. I know that it's available on Netflix in America. It's not available on Netflix in Korea, which is interesting since it is a Korean movie. You'll just have to see if it's available on Netflix in your country. If not, I'm sure you could watch it somewhere else if you're interested in watching it. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If y'all really like me doing these film reviews, please like this video, just comment, and I really hope y'all subscribe to my channel and press that notification bell, and follow my social medias right here. Links are also down below. Bye, y'all.